Hi, Michael Bloom, chiropractor. What I want to cover today is the impact that stress has on the body. Now, fun fact, stress that we were used to feeling thousands of years ago, the stress of a wild animal coming to attack us in the remote outback, is actually physiologically very similar in what it does to the body to the stresses many of us are experiencing today, such as the chronic ongoing stress. Think of work deadlines, think of school stress, think of friendship stress, think of financial stress, think of relationship stress. Those ongoing small stresses actually create changes similarly in the body to the type of stress that we were used to thousands of years ago. Now, there's a problem with that. The problem is that the stresses we used to feel were quick, intense, and then passed for periods of time, and the body could go back to balance and homeostasis. Nowadays, these small stresses, they tend to pile on top of each other, on and on and on and on, and they lead to lots of physiological changes. One of the physiological changes involves the spine and the brain. Let's just get into that for a moment. So, if we're prepared to escape the wild animal, but in the modern times, then the big muscles of the body switch on and the small muscles of the body switch off. Because you think about it, the big muscles are required to run away from danger. Now what happens is if those big muscles are switched on all the time, then the small controlling muscles, particularly around the spine, get switched off. Then the spine and the individual bones of the spine do not move as well as they should be moving. So what I'm referencing is that the small muscles that are around the spine, they stop being activated and the bigger muscles are being activated instead. Now, what's really important is that the small muscles of the spine really tell the brain a lot about what's going on with your internal GPS. So if they're not communicating to the brain properly, we are much more likely to have micro injuries. So poor, inappropriate muscular function and activity leading to micro injuries at the joints. Micro means small, often not felt. But if micro is ongoing, on and on and on and on, well, you are much more likely to have that out of the blue, oh, my back is killing me, I can't function, I don't know what I did, I just bent over to do my socks up, I just bent over to spit toothpaste into the sink and now I can't move, and you wonder why. It's often the long-term effect of the stress on the brain, poor control of the spine, and therefore the body hits the skids in a big way. Ways through this, deal with your stress. That's quite hard to do for a lot of people. Another way through this, if you're under stress and you keep being under stress, make sure that someone at least can get in touch with your spine, get the appropriate function back into the spine where it's getting micro injured, so that you're much more likely to have micro injury rather than the big macro injury and really be out of action for a while. I know this is a bit of a complicated topic, but take home message, stress is every day, it's in all of our lives, it leads to damaging effects on the muscular system and the brain, and that can lead to physical disability that in many cases can be avoided through appropriate care on the spine through the stressful periods. Thanks for watching.